What's up everyone, it's KK and I've been waiting to make this video for a while now because today I want to talk about the builds that I believe may be the best in Exfil Zone. Now obviously everyone's going to have their opinions, but from what I see right now, I believe the meta revolves around low recoil weapons that are shooting at high fire rates, or at least just low recoil in general. So let's go ahead and get into this. Now, most of the weapons here that I use are SMGs, right? Because they have such low recoil, high fire rates, so you can beam people from ranges while they're trying to semi-auto and tap you, with higher rounds like 7.61, 5.2 or so. So let me show you here. There's so many ways to go, but let's start with the typical MP5. Now, let's say you're trader level 3 on all your traders. I would say maybe be around trader level 3 for all the builds I'm going to show you here, all right? So first of all, let's take off a lot of the complicated attachments that we don't really need. Let's break it down to some of these base attachments here. So off rip here, this is going to be the standard build once you get to level 3 traders, or at least level 3 arc, I believe, for the MP5, in my opinion. All right, so right here you see the base vertical recoil is 107, very low vertical recoil. All right, so most of these builds are going to be revolving around this. And then this weapon, if you've seen in a lot of my videos, I've uploaded at least like 4 or 5 MP5 videos in a row and I was having fun with it. The recoil control is absolutely insane. All right, now I want you to pay attention to these numbers, all right, because that's going to give you a comparison between the different weapons that I'm showing you. So obviously with a weapon like this, what I like to do in a lot of these weapons is use a toucan scope, just because it adds no stat changes to your vertical recoil or horizontal. So you can use this, it's very good, and you keep a low recoil. So going over the actual components here, lower receiver is just the MP5. The stock is going to be the MP5 A4 standard stock, and we're going to go here to the upper receiver. You just have the MP5 A4 upper receiver. Coming over here to the handguard, we have the MP5 A4 key mod. All right, use a key mod handguard, and then you're going to go ahead and put an underrail on the bottom the mount section here. And then other than that, we go to the muzzle, MP5 tri-plug, which allows us to put the Osprey 9 suppressor. And with this combined with the Tango down grip, you're gonna get a very low recoil of 107. Let's go on to the next weapon. All right, now coming to the next weapon, which is just as good, if not even better, but it's a little more costly and not as usable to run all the time, but extremely good. We're gonna talk about the Vector. Now obviously this is the 9mm. I use attachments like this Kansas scope and this ACOG as like personal preference. You don't have to use these, this is just how I set it up, but preferably I would just say use a toucan red dot, of course, and because it has no stat effects to your recoil. Now the Vector is sitting at 81 vertical recoil. Now I want you to understand, anything below 100 vertical recoil, you can probably shoot 100 meters out, 150 meters out, and control the recoil to the T. Maybe I'm exaggerating, maybe I say 50. I don't even know meters, right? Ignore that. I'm gonna show you some examples, but just understand that 81 is ridiculously low, okay, for recoil. And especially with SMGs, high fire rate, a lot of bullets. Even if you're from a distance, you can beam their legs with that many bullets, and they're heavily kitted. It's absolutely disgusting. I'm telling you, what's really going to win you in fights this wipe is hitting your shots. A lot of these higher caliber weapons have crazy recoils no matter how much you build it, all right? So those mid-range fights, when you're using the SMG and you're able to control that recoil like crazy, and they're tap, semi-auto, tap, because they can't control that recoil, you're going to win simply because you hit more shots. Now let's go ahead and go into the attachments here for the Vector. we're just using the standard mag. Now obviously you can add the 50 round mag and you're only adding 5 more vertical recoil, which is not a problem at all. So go ahead, if you do have the 50 round drums available, you have them unlocked, go ahead and add those also. It's not really big of a penalty. For the stock here, we are using the Ace SOCOM. I believe this is going to give you the lowest vertical recoil out of all the other options. On the base stock, you would add the vector buffer adapter. So you would add that first, and then you would go to the second option, add the Ace SOCOM, which is all level 3 trader parts. So then we're not adding anything too crazy on the handguard. You go to the barrel, vector 9mm, 127mm barrel, and then you have the muzzle with the Osprey 9 suppressor again, and then Tango down grip. You're gonna see this Osprey suppressor Tango down grip on all the SMGs. I think it's like the best combination. But 81 vertical recoil, absolutely disgusting. Next weapon. Now let's get to the EVO. All right, now I already made a video on this. As I said, this may be the best weapon in the game. I have no idea why, but from last wipe to this wipe, they slashed the vertical recoil for this weapon down by like 50%. Like, it's disgusting. So let me just go ahead and put this on here. Vertical recoil of 52. I don't care if you're wearing T6 with an Alten. If I have a 50 round drum mag in here, which is only increasing it by 4, so if I put a 50 rounder, it's at 56 still. I don't care what you have. You're not taking all 50 of these shots. You're not taking that. And I'm going to be shooting very accurately from long ranges, you know, while they're trying to tap. So it's just, trust me, it's disgusting. It's so nasty. Yes, you're only shooting 9x19 AP, but I promise you the accuracy and the ammo count RPM it's going to make up for all of that. Now, of course, with this one, the EVO is completely stock. All right, completely stock. All I did was add the toucan red dot, Tango grip, and then the Osprey. That's it. With the regular stats, 52 vertical recoil, and you can use this, I believe, at level 2. Actually, no, level 3 you have to be, I believe, for ARC, maybe to get the suppressor and the Tango down to buy those. I believe for those you actually do need to be level 3 traders, but you can get the EVO itself off rip with pretty decent low recoil with base attachments at level 2. But level 3 is going to give you the best stuff you need, and this weapon is just disgusting. All right, okay, so I've been talking about a lot of SMGs here. Now let's talk about an assault rifle. All right, now obviously a lot of weapons in the game are viable. I'm not trying to throw down any weapons, you know, that are running M61 or M993, you know, all those higher caliber weapons. Those are obviously all good. You can head top people, you know, one bullet, cool. But a weapon that I believe is absolutely disgusting, and I believe 5.56 may be on top when it comes to assault rifles, is a Sekka 16. Now this weapon right here, this became an absolute demon this wipe. All right, this build right here is disgusting. 117 vertical recoil for an assault rifle. I promise you, I've tried to touch up on all the assault rifles and get low vertical recoil. I don't think I've got below like 180 or 60. The highest you can get obviously is with the M4. With the M4 you can get around like 120 range, so that's like the contender besides using the Sekka 16. But obviously the Sekka 16, I just think, why not use it? Like, it's lower recoil. I think it's just going to be better all around. So either way, Sekka 16, let's just go ahead and get into the attachments here. Now you're going to need the AR-15 grip, or AR-15 PRS pistol grip. Now you can only get this by getting level 3, I believe, on Anna, and you can buy a pre-built SSR that comes with this SSR stock and the pistol grip. So basically the only reason why I was able to make this is because of the pre-built weapon you're able to buy from Trader level 3 at Anna. So if you actually want these parts, you have to get level 4. All right, so you need level 4 for that, and you need level 4 also for the Sekka SSR stock. So these are two pieces that it's going to take a while to get. This weapon is very expensive. This is definitely going to be some like in-game setups. Obviously you can get it like I did at level 3, but it's going to cost you a lot of resources. Come here, Sekka 355mm barrel, Upper receiver is the unrailed upper. Regular muzzle is going to be the AR-157 AR-10 TB. I don't even know what you would call this CP cover. This suppressor right here, I believe it's like the new best suppressor. And then I do have a laser on here, which you can take off if you're not a laser kind of person, but I think a laser is just really good for recoil control and beaming players, and that will drop it down to 115 for the vertical recoil. And of course, you use the Tango down scope, a grip, of course, and then that's going to be it with the toucan scope. And this thing is disgusting. All right, so I'm gonna go and raid and just give you some comparisons now on how the recoil looks at a far range, or at least a medium range where you can expect, to see some players. Okay, so we're here in resort. I have all the weapons here. Now what I'm going to do is shoot a mag through all of these towards the door of the bank. All right, now this is about the medium range distance where I believe you should be able to full auto recoil and have a controllable recoil for your weapon. All right, so we're going to use this as the basis. I'm just going to shoot over towards the door, and I want you to just watch the recoil movement and see how it hovers around the entrance. All right, now I don't know if it's going to be the best view for you or for you to understand this, but hopefully it does give you a good view of how good the recoil is for these weapons. Now I'm going to start off with the Seca 16 because this one does have the highest. All right, so we'll start with this one, Seca 16, 115 recoil with no laser on it. And let's aim. I'm just going to shoot the full mag at the door. All right, as you can see, I definitely was hovering within the doorway, but sometimes it did kind of pop out to the right, pop out up to the left a little bit. But overall, if there was a player in that doorway, you're gonna hit a majority of those shots with this weapon, 100%. All right, the next weapon we're gonna try here is the MP5. All right, let's go ahead and bolt this back. Let's aim for the door. Scav down the way. Let's just ignore that. Now you can tell the MP5, which is just slightly lower than the Seca 16, that recoil was very controllable. Now obviously it's a smaller caliber of bullet too, which I'm assuming ties into how much recoil is going to be added to the weapon. So very, very nice recoil. If there was anybody within that doorway, 100% every bullet's connecting, 100%. Now, mind you, this one's still around the 100 recoil range, right? Not even below 100 yet. So let's get into the next weapon, which is going to be the Vector. The Vector, I believe, was sitting around like 80 or so. I really don't want to waste a bullet on the scav right here. Let's go ahead and put these shots out and take a look at the Vector's recoil. Absolutely disgusting. Now 100% anybody in that doorway, they're getting destroyed. Now, as I said, the Vector was in like the 80 range for vertical recoil. So what could possibly happen when we pull out the EVO? Okay, now the EVO was sitting at the 50 level. I think it was more like 53, 54 for the vertical recoil. Okay, absolutely disgusting. So if there's someone sitting in the middle of the bank doorway and you're up here on the balcony and you decide to take your shots on them, they stand absolutely no chance. All right, even if you decide to put the drum mag on here, you're gonna connect every single shot. Now I hope that really gave you a good picture of how these weapon recoils look. So that's pretty much going to be it for this video. What I'm basically saying is right now I believe that SMGs are the meta, especially with the newest map being Smuggling Tunnel, such a close range map. You want to have that high rate of fire, low recoil. It's definitely going to get the job done, especially Resort being one of the most popular maps in the game. For a map like that, I'm definitely thinking, that SMG is going to come in clutch 100%. Now, a runner-up is obviously the MP9. MP9 is good, but it just does not have the drum mags. MP5 can even get the 100-round drum mag if it wanted to, and probably still be pretty well off. So, other than that, that's what I believe is probably the best weapons in the game right now. If anything changes, will update. But other than that, that's going to be it for this video. If you like this video in any way, go ahead, hit the like button, hit the comment section, tell me what you believe some of the best weapons in the game are. Go ahead, hit the subscribe button if you want to see more content, and I'll catch you guys later.